What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to 86 Reviews, and in this episode of Figure Battles we take a look at the new Figurized Standard Piccolo model kit and see how it fares against the very first Dragon Ball release from Tamashii Nations, Figuarts Piccolo. Alright, you know how this works. 4 rounds, paint and sculpt work, articulation, accessories, and overall fun factor. Let's do this. First up, the details. One thing I think Figuarts got right was Piccolo's head sculpt. Even after all these years, I still think it's a great representation of the character. Figurized, on the other hand, in my opinion, unfortunately, like most of the head sculpts in the line, Piccolo 2 seems a little off. The nose isn't prominent enough, and the eyes are just too big in my opinion, making it look a little too cartoonish, if that makes any sense. Bigger eyes in anime usually gives off a cuter vibe, which Piccolo definitely isn't. Just give him slightly thinner, more angular eyes, and I think we have a winner. I think it's really noticeable with the turban head compared to Figuarts. Figurized seems kind of flat, lacking depth around the eyes and nose area. Now, if you've been collecting Figurized, you'll probably notice the reused parts from the Goku mold. Not that that's a bad thing. The crotch and the upper legs are reused, while we get a slight retool for the torso, slightly thicker belt, and the lower half of the legs. Everything else is new, sharp and sculpted well as it should be, being a model kit. Proportion wise, looks just as good as Figuarts. He has the broad shoulders, thin waist, and slightly flared pants look. While Figuarts obviously has the advantage of being painted, and painted relatively well with shading and wash to bring out those details in the figure. The original release was based on the manga colors, whilst Figurized gives us the anime color palette in straight up molded plastic. So something that is definitely worth praising about Figuarts Piccolo is the amount of accessories that you get with this set, especially for a first release, and you do get a healthy amount of accessories. In addition to the 2 fisted hands attached, you do get 2 open palm kind of claw hands or fighting pose hands, and the nails are painted black, which is a nice touch. You can see the veins there sculpted in, very detailed. You get a pair of open palm blast hands, kind of splayed out fingers. Again, the nails are painted at the back. And you get a special beam cannon hand as well. Again, there you can see that the veins are sculpted in, which is a nice touch. You also get a folded arm, crossed arm attachment, which just gives Piccolo that iconic look. You get 3 interchangeable heads. You get the stern face, right there. You get a stern face with his turban on, and you also get an angry or a special beam cannon charging attack face, again with the veins sculpted on there very nicely. And of course you get his cape, and there's two options for this cape. First of all, the cape is actually shaded really nicely with this kind of pale grayish blue. You can kind of see it here on the cape. It's really well sculpted, and all you need to do is, well, this piece here is actually detachable. So the larger front piece is when he's not using his crossed arm attachment, and the smaller front piece here is when he is using the cross arm attachment. Alright, so for Figuarts we don't get as many accessories as we did with Figuarts. We get 3 interchangeable heads or faces. You get the standard stern face right there. You get a shouting face, and you get a stern face with the turban. But you actually have to take off the original head, the base head, detach the face, like so, detach the back of the head so you're just left with the middle and the ears, grab the turban, that goes on top, and the face just clips on like so. So it's a little bit fiddly, but technically you do get three heads or 3 faces. In terms of hands, you only get, well, actually you only get 1 set of hands, the fisted hands, and you only get 1 special beam cannon hand for his right hand. Again, nothing's painted because it is a model kit, but I do really wish that they would have included a set of open palm hands. It would have just made this set a lot better. But I guess what are you gonna do? But they did include a special beam cannon effect, which looks fantastic and was sorely missed for the Figuarts set. I do like this. It's one of the better effects from the line, and you do get the clear stand that comes with the other sets in the line as well. You also get the cape. This cape is nicely sculpted. It is just a solid plastic shell, but it is articulated. These flaps, or the side flaps here, are on ball joints, so it does give you a really, well, a lot better range of motion as opposed to the Figuarts cape, which actually gave you, pretty much no articulation at all. So, I'm really happy that they kind of integrated this bit of articulation into the cape. Last but not least, you do get the Super Saiyan 1 Gohan head or hair. It doesn't look too bad. The hair looks a little bit short in my opinion. I've been using the Figurize Battle Damage Super Saiyan 1 head as my head for the Teen Gohan.
I just think that the hair looks a lot better on that one. But you know, I'm glad that they did include it. There's just a comparison.
So I know a lot of you guys are interested in seeing just how well Figure-rise fits in with the Figuarts line. Really well actually, scale-wise. I think Piccolo is the perfect height, which means for our Figure-rise exclusive collectors, this might be a little bit disappointing, as it is definitely too short compared to the other C fighters. There definitely is a height difference, ever so slightly, and it's achieved with the mid-torso joint being just a few millimeters taller than the Goku mold, but not significant enough to give Piccolo a height difference accurate to the anime and manga. Figuarts Piccolo has always been a favorite of mine. Impressive arsenal of accessories, great sculpt, dated but decent upper and lower half articulation, just a really well done figure overall. It's definitely stood the test of time and can still hold its own against some of the newer releases, but I would be lying if I said we didn't sorely need a 2.0, and I was hoping the Figure-rise would fill that gap, or until we get a proper release from Figuarts. For the most part it does. It scales great with the Figuarts line and doesn't look too out of place amongst the other figures, even unpainted. But to judge the figure solely on being a filler for Figuarts would be unfair. Both figures have their pros and cons. If you're buying Figuarts for Figuarts, it's gonna cost you, now more than when it was released or reissued. The articulation is a little bit dated, but the biggest issue is the size, just too short to scale with his other Z fighters. On the other hand, the sculpt is solid and pretty spot on if you don't mind the manga colors. Like I said before, you get some great accessories with multiple hands, heads, and cape, but a special beam cannon is sorely missed, which is where Figure-rise comes in to save the day, giving us a special beam cannon effect but depriving us of much needed open palm hands. So as you can see, both figures come pretty close but are definitely flawed. The solution would be to upscale Figuarts, give it Figure-rise leg articulation and a special beam cannon effect, and you've got yourself a keeper. However, taking into account the price and the availability of both figures, your best bet would be Figure-rise. I paid about 3,000 yen for mine, so I guess about $30, but I bought it at retail here in Japan. For everyone else overseas, I'm hearing people paying around $40 to $50. It's a familiar and fun build and the tallest Piccolo we have so far, so whether you're a Figuarts or a Figure-rise collector, it'll definitely fit in better size-wise than Figuarts for both lines. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave your comments down below and let me know which one wins this round for you. Once again, thank you so much for watching, for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you for the next video. Take it easy guys. Bye.